Here you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 snare drum racks. I've actually got a 6th one that's not set up right now. I love these snare drum racks. I think they're great. But the problem is that they're only 2 levels high. And if you start spreading 6 of them apart, it takes up a lot of room. Today I'm going to attempt and then show you how I'm going to put 2 together and what we're going to need to do so. The first thing that we're going to want to do is go over to your local store. This is the L series copper tubing. This is 3/4 inch. They make K, L, and M. M is the thinnest that they come in. You do not want that. You want to try to get something a little bit thicker. None of my parts stores kept the K in stock, so I went with the blue, which is the L, and that is a little bit thicker wall than the M series. Again, this is just 3/4 inch. This is a 10-foot pole. I found that I can get all 4 pieces and have plenty left over, so I'm going to have quite a bit left over since I bought 2 of these, and I'm not horribly worried. But they are like 24, 25 bucks at the store that I bought them. So, you know, if cost is a thing, then, you know, you might be able to get this and then find some much shorter sections. But where I went, they just had the 2 10-foot poles, and that's fine. So another thing that you're going to want to get is just a nice rounded file. Here I've got one with a handle because we're going to have to take care of some of the welding that came through on these posts. Another easy thing is just a nice flathead, small flathead. We're going to need to pop off the tops so that we can get into the tubing. Another item that you're going to want to get is a tube cutter. This is a pretty nice one here. It's a big boy, way bigger than what you'll need, but you can get any tube. You can get one of the little hand ones. We're going to cut that. As I'm going to stack these together, the first thing that I did is I wanted to measure from screw to screw, and here I get about 20.5 inches, because when I stack from here to the next one, I want to make sure that it looks aesthetically even and pleasing to the eye. So I'm measuring this out, and I'm actually going to drop it down because my ceiling is not tall enough. But if you were doing this and you had a tall enough ceiling, you would want to make your measurement 20.5 inches. Now I'm only going to bring it down a little bit. I'm going to bring this down to 19 inches. That's what I'm going to use for measurement. And I'm going to cut some of my pieces now, and then that way we can stack them together. This is a leftover bar from the earlier one that I cut, so I'm just going to take this out. I'm going to go 19 inches, and I'm going to make a mark. Now I'm going to take give it a little tighten. Just gonna spin, tighten, spin. There's my first one. Now we're going to do 4 more. Or 3 more. Perfect. Look at that. 4 perfectly even pieces of pipe. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sand these down and we're going to paint them. But before we do that, we're going to look at the racks. Here's the rack tube top. All we're going to do is just take our screwdriver, little flathead, wedge that in there, and we're nicely going to pop off this cap. on all 4 edges. There we go. And it's just a press-in, nothing fancy. Here we're looking down the pipe, and I know it's hard to tell, but there's going to be some casting marks you can see right there. We're going to have to use our file to smooth those down so that our copper pipe can smoothly go down until it hits this bolt. And this bolt head is actually what's going to be holding the copper piece in place. If you wanted to, you could self-tap a metal screw through or whatever and hold that in place, but I think just the weight of the rack and sitting on that bolt will be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead, grab my my file, and we're going to file that down. Now I have my little helpers with me, but don't forget, flip this over, take off the rubber feet, and you have to do the exact same thing with the bottom side because the pole's got to go both directions. So,
hello.
Here's my little girl. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. Now let's just go ahead. Oh yeah, look at that. Slides right in. That one's gonna go in, but it's gonna be a little bit of trouble. Oh, I see it. Okay. Annie, don't touch.
Yes, look at the pictures. No. Hi, my name's Eva. I like me. I have a mermaid too. Let's see. It is 5. Okay, go. Woo! That's so much fun, Eva. Under the sea, under the sea. No touching, Hattie. No touchies. No touchies. Only Wookiees.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, all these are going to go in now. We're going to sand them down and we're going to paint them. I have some 150 grit sandpaper, nothing crazy, and some Rust-Oleum gloss painter and primer. Now, the conditions outside are not good for what we're doing, but I need to get this done, and this part I'm not horribly terrified or worried if it doesn't come out perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sand this down until it's nice and shiny, which does not take a lot of effort. And don't forget, you're only going to see, you know, this middle section too, so I'm going to spend more time obviously on the middle section, and I'll still do the ends, but I just want to get the middle nice and smooth, see, and then this is the absolute worst weather to be doing this in, but I don't care. I'm going to take these pencils, I'm going to shove pencils into the ground, 4 of them here. And I'm just going to place these right glorious. And I'm not worried. Wow. The wind just shifted. Bummer. Well, we're going to still do it anyways. Here it is, final product. I put 2 ProLine racks together. Now I got, 4 stacked versus just a single, which if I did, if I just did singles all the way across, it just takes up a lot more room. And one of the things that I learned, I only made this 19 inches instead of the same 21 inches that they had there. The only problem with that is a 13-inch snare drum comes out nice and easy, but a 14-inch snare drum does not clear this bar. So I had to use this small one here, and I have to press these two against itself and then turn it sideways to get it out. So if you have enough ceiling space, which, this is a cut down ceiling in a basement, I'm only 5'7" and I can touch the ceiling. So in a normal, if you have an 8-foot ceiling, I would recommend keeping that 21-inch measurement that I said earlier. I think it's actually 21 and a half, because that's what the distance from here to here is. This is only 19 inches now, and the problem is that this 14-inch snare drum is kind of stuck in there unless you move them all to one side and then turn it and get it in and out. But again, with a 13, no problem. So, any questions, feel free, put in the comments, hit me up, let me know, but it's sturdy too, I promise you, and I might even, just for fun, once I figure out where I'm going to put them full time, use one of those furniture brackets to go against the wall so that it cannot tilt forward at all, because I don't want one of my girls to try to think that's a ladder or something and then it all tumbles down on them. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Keep tuned, because I like to do random DIYs on weird stuff, house stuff, car stuff, drum stuff. Alright, thanks guys.